Well, hello FME friends. Today while I'm working on a server app, and I wanted to show you how I put this app together, but also because what I'm doing is I'm using resources that are stored on FME Server to generate a web page, and to get them I use the API, and that sort of has a little bit of a security loophole in there that I'm going to try and block today. So let's have a look at what I've got and how that works. So this is what I call the FME Community Cafe. You may have seen this if you came to the user conference. And I'm trying to keep it going with sort of useful resources on here so you can sort of earn badges and whatnot. And what I'm looking at today is the community resources. And one of the options on there, or three of the options, are to look at the transformer trading cards that I got or put together for the last couple of years. And so for the 2022, if I click on that, it opens up a page. And what it's doing now is it opened up a server app, ran a workspace, and the workspace returned this information. And we can see all of the cards that were available. And if I sort of mouse over them, I can see the reverse side of them. So that's, yeah, I just figured people might find this interesting to see what we have. So I wanted to just mention how that works. How it works is with a fairly straightforward workspace. This bit is just where I get the list of transformers for each particular year. So for 2022, we have the attribute dereferencer, the coordinate swapper, the Esri reprojector, the geometry validator, and so on. Just a comma-separated list of them. Split it up into a list, explode that list, and we've got a feature for every card. And all we do then is create a record in HTML for each card, and we generate a header and a footer, we put them all together, and the output is what you saw there. And you can see we've got 3 columns and multiple rows of those cards. And that's really what we're doing here. I'm creating the row and the column numbers here. That's all that's doing. So that's great. So let's have a look at the HTML that's in there. And this is the key part. This is what shows the image, basically. It's a custom HTML. I've just talked with the developers actually, and in 2023 they're going to improve this dialog. I asked them, could we put like a little ... button just to open up the text edit dialog, because it's ridiculous having to do this every time. And I think they might have actually made it so the text editor embeds into there, but we'll see how that goes. But for now we've got this. So all we're doing here is I got this code off a website somewhere. It was just a way to flip the cards when you mouse over them. So we've got these sort of div tags in here, and basically the image source is this. So the image is community FME server support fmecloud.com, FME REST. So basically what I've got is, in my resources, I've got a data folder with trading cards, and that's where all the cards are stored. And that HTML that I'm generating is just hitting a reference to this. It's making the URL reference back to one of these, and it's doing it through the server REST API. So FME REST API version 3 resources connections. So we're saying find this connection, shared resource data. Under the file system, we look for trading cards and look for the transformer, like so. And then we need to authorize that, so I've got FME token equals blah, blah, blah. And that's how that works. And so we have one for the front, one for the back, and by mousing over it, as you could see before, mousing over it just flipped from the front to the back and vice versa. So that's how that works. Now the problem is, I mean that works really well actually, and really all I did was I put together a server app for each of those. So there's the transformer cars for 2021. And it just runs the workspace with the parameter that says this is 2021, 22, whatever. And it runs this. Whenever you click onto the server app, it runs it immediately, runs the workspace, streams back to HTML, and that's basically this. So it sort of looks like it's part of the same app, but it's really streaming that HTML back from the workspace directly. I mean, that works fine, so I'm really happy, and if you want to look at the cards that are on here, that's great. The thing I found, though, was that while I was looking up how to stop copying or downloading the image, like you can't right click on it now and say save image, because I changed it so you can't do that. I'm sure there's other ways, but the thing that I really didn't like was if I look at the page source, it actually has the URL directly in there. Where are we? That's not the one. It's down here, isn't it? So yeah, so it's got that, and it's got the FME token in there. And I mean, really, that FME token, I made sure it's only got access to that particular resource. That token doesn't have access to everything, because obviously that would be a mistake. But really, still, I don't want people to be able to look at the source code and say, his token is that, and be able to use that to access my server. I don't think that would be good security. And this is probably where my inexperience with creating websites is like a little bit lacking, because there must be better ways to do that. But this isn't really a proper website. This is just sort of streaming things back. It's server apps and streaming content back. So when I was looking for how to stop save image, which you do with this, I found this other person said, oh, well, the other thing you can do is use this data URI scheme. And if I look that up on Wikipedia, and basically it is embedding the image directly into the web page and not having a URL that points to it. So I thought, well, could I do that with FME? Like, could I somehow get this information and put it into the HTML instead of the link, and then people wouldn't be able to see what the token was I'm using? So I gave this a try, and it turns out, yes, I can do that with the RasterExtractor and the BinaryEncoder. So here I'm just reading a random GeoTIFF file, and if I extract it in a raster, we get a raster blob, like so. It's going to be a second to show that because it's sort of a fairly big number. And then the binary encoder just encodes that blob into base 64. And when I do that, excuse me, now I've got a value that I can put into a tag like this. And I actually did that, and it came out great. So I've got this HTML file. Let me see if I can find it. Did I? Let me see. That doesn't look like the right window. What have I done there? Oh, here we go. So yeah, so rather than pointing to a file, it's actually, I sort of put that content into that HTML, and it actually opened up like this. So yes, I can do that in FME. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to change that over so that these embed the image directly into the HTML and not make reference to them on server. So let's see if I can do that. So I guess what I'm going to have to do is, I'm just going to clear a bit of space, like so. So this is where I'm defining what the files are. So all I really need to do is, where I've got this, so that's the file. I can fetch it with the token directly. So I'm thinking a raster replacer, which should, no, not a raster replacer, raster reader, which would now be the feature reader. That shows me being old school. So I can say read these PNG files, and let me open the text editor. So that's the file to read. Let's see if that works. Okay, this is the bit that always confuses me. So let's just run it up to that point and see what we get. Okay, so we're getting some numbers back. There we go, perfect. I'm getting all of those back as raster images. I'm not sure why it's showing all of them. Maybe I need to do a slideshow to show them separately. There we go. So I can read those. Now I just need to dig this out of here. The RasterExtractor and the BinaryEncoder. Then not copy. Copy, paste, that's better. So I'm going to extract the raster. Raster format name. Raster blob. We're going to encode it in binary. Now the only thing I've got to be careful of is that we want both sides of the card, and this just seems to be the front of it so far. But that's okay. I'm going to I'll sort that out later. I just want to make sure I can get this actually working. So we're going to generate this. We can't group by transformer list because I think we've lost that. So really I need some sort of counter on here, I think, to give it an ID, because everything needs to be processed separately as its own report, as it were. So I'm going to throw a counter in, group by count, and the custom HTML is going to be, what did I, where is that? That's my delete, that's my HTML. Oops, did I just kill Notepad? I think I did. Okay, that's fine. I'll get it from here. So that was it. So image source equals let me replace that bit. Image source equals that, comma, then the value, which is the raster, and then put an end quote around it, and then I think we're okay after that. So I think that's all we need to do, and in fact I can leave the backs. Actually, I can't leave the backs because it's missing that value, but we'll see what it does. I just want to see if it actually works. Okay, well that seems to have worked. Somehow I got to, let's see, we're reading the front. How is it reading the front? Because, oops, in here it says front, and I need to read the back as well. So I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to, we've got a transformer list, that's the name of it. So what I'm going to have to do is, can I pass through merge initiator and result? Ignore nulls, no. Geometry, use result. There we go. And now I should be able to go back to that, because I'm going to have to do that twice. Once to read the back and once to read the front. So we're going to read the back side of the card with this. Ah, that ... gets me. It's the text editor I want. So all my cards have got a standard name, so it's back instead of front. Same token, but you're not going to see the token in the output because I'm using it here. And then I'm just going to duplicate those, connect that up to the generic port, and are we still getting transformer list? We are. Okay, so what I should do is give this a different name, shouldn't I? So raster back, we'll call that. And I'll, just for the sake of it, I'll rename this as well to raster front. So let's open this up. So that is raster front. Image source equals base 64 comma. I haven't tried this, by the way. This is me trying this for the first time. So, oops, I don't need that anymore. Raster back, quote, and that should be okay. So hopefully that should just do it. I don't even need this anymore. I'll just leave it there. And so if I republish this, so this is going to be the test. I'm just going to try this and see what happens. And like I said, I haven't tried this before. This is live editing of FME. Let's put it that way. So now if I try this, will it work? Fingers crossed. Will it work? Whoa! It looks like... Well, it looks like we have the front. Okay, well I've got the front, that's something. So I'm halfway there. If I view the page source, it shouldn't be pointing to those, and it shouldn't be showing... Okay, what have we got here? There we go. Data image base, blah, blah, blah. There's my image. So I wonder why the back side of that isn't working. Oh, it seems like the value's not there. What have I done? This is working, isn't it? Yeah. Live editing, you can't beat this. So we got the raster extractor, there's the raster blob. There's the binary encoder. So that's the raster back. And we've still got the transformer list. So it should group by that. Oh, okay, so I put that in before. I changed that to advanced before because I wanted just to, because I think it would perform a bit better. But in this case, I think we've got a problem because all of the fronts are arriving before all of the backs. So I'm going to have to do that and republish. Do that republish, okay, 1637. Yeah, that's good. So let's give that a shot. If it will let me. So it's not working. Let's refresh the page. And my computer's sort of slowing down for, I'm not sure why. There we go. Ah! Did it reload? Let me just go back to here. We'll try it with 2021. You can hear my computer whirring away in the background, so I guess it's... Why? Why? Live editing. Okay, so the back is still missing. The back is still missing things. Okay, so what did I do wrong there? We've got the raster back. That should. I don't see why. Maybe I need to merge them together. Maybe my thinking's just a bit off here. Probably is, yeah. I probably need to do a merge on those. I'm going to use the merger. I mean, my thinking, I think, is just a little bit off there as to how that's actually working, because even with the group by set, maybe because it's getting two features, it's trying to create two reports per group. I'm not quite sure. So now we've got front and back. Let's republish that. I'll go to the translation log, clear the log just to make sure that it is republishing. There we go. Okay, let's refresh. Bit of a drum roll. I'm hoping it's going to work this time. Hey, and it does. Fantastic. So we've got that in there now, and I'm not revealing what my token is that I used to get that. So the token fetch occurs inside the workspace and not on the not on your machine when the web server is running. When you're opening the web page up. So like normally you'd open the web page up and it would fetch the pictures now, whereas now they're embedded directly in there. I don't know if that makes it a little bit slower for these to appear. Like, does it take a little bit longer to load this as a page because it's got more in? But then it's having to fetch less over the network, so it doesn't seem like it should be that. So, yeah. So there we go. That's this is a server app for the community. I can return to the resources page, and yeah, I've got all sorts of stuff on here. All of these are powered, or most of these are powered by FME Server apps. And yeah, next week I've got a. Assuming you're watching this pretty soon after I've uploaded it, next week, which will be the 25th of October, we've got a sort of community presentation on apps for automations, not workspaces. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. So yeah, give this a try, see what you think about it. FME.ly/communitycafe, community resources, and then just have a look at the trading cards and see what you think. And yeah, I think it's just a nice web page to show you what we had, and so you can have a read of the cards and find out interesting facts about transformers. And yeah, but you'll know actually how this works and how it's produced, and how it was a bit more secure than it was half an hour ago. So hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching. Okay, bye folks.